You have a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea.
Oh, look at that reaction.
Look at that reaction. What do you say? What do you know? It's the full Monty Sports Show and Nuts and Bolts Sports special edition halftime of the college football playoffs. Want to wish everyone a safe and happy New Year's Eve. If you're going out, please be safe, be smart. Do Uber, do Lyft, take a cab, or just stay home. But we are wishing everyone a safe and happy New Year's Eve 2021. Let's get rid of 2021 and let's go into 2022 and make it a great year. We are going to be breaking down the entire college football playoffs. You're doing this with me, the sports whisperer Monty Perez. Follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, and I'm spending most of my time now on Twitter, MontyJP231, and on TikTok, Monty Perez 231. Let's bring on our co-host, the owner, operator, looking sharp as hell, Joe Cardoza. Joe, how are you today?
Good evening, Monty. What's going on, my man? How are you?
Styling today, Joe. I like it.
Hey, you set the bar high, brother. When I get the email, I try to know the assignment, understand it.
Joe, all right. First of all, let's talk about. We're going to get to Michigan. We're going to get to Georgia. We're going to get to Alabama. But are you a person? I don't do New Year's resolutions because I usually have monthly goals. For example, 2 months ago, I stopped eating red meat, I stopped eating bacon, and I stopped eating potato chips. My next thing is I'm going to stop drinking wine, which I'm doing tonight for the New Year's Eve celebration. What is your New Year's resolution? Do you do them?
No, I don't, because they usually last like a week if I'm lucky. I've kind of gone your route over the last couple of years and try to do the monthly goals thing.
Yeah, I think that's better because
Yeah.
as a personal trainer, I used to tell people would come in and they would say, I want to stop drinking. I want to stop smoking. I was like, don't worry about that. Just come and work out. And I'll never forget this guy. He was going through a divorce. He was about 325 pounds. And he came to me and he said, I want to do all that stuff. I want to stop drinking. I want to eat right. I was like, let's start working out. After
Yeah.
about 2 months, he lost about 22 pounds. He came in on a Saturday morning. He goes, Monty, you don't understand. All my friends were going out tonight. We were watching a playoff basketball game. They were going to Buffalo Wild Wings. He goes, I didn't go because I had to work out. And I said, see, that's it. If you put too many goals out there, you're never going to achieve them. So do little by little, sort of walk before you run. Wow, already with the compliments. Two handsome men. Love the shirt and tie. Gotta like that. All right. Okay. Let's get right to this, Joe. Before we get into the Alabama game, which, by the way, after the first series, I tweeted out a video. I said it's over. But I want to talk about this, Joe. Okay. LeBron James. Okay. Let's start with this. Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City. He goes to the Golden State Warriors. They win a title. He's now in Brooklyn with Kyrie Irving if healthy. They're the best team in the East. LeBron James did the most he could in Cleveland. He leaves Cleveland. He goes to Miami. They win a title. Back to Cleveland. Win a title. Back to goes to LA. They win a title. Luke Fickell said, and I quote, I have no interest in leaving Cincinnati. Luke, what the hell are you doing, man? What are you doing? You're never going to get this opportunity again. Make it easy on yourself. LeBron, Kevin Durant, they busted their ass so that they could go to a better place. This is why people leave jobs. This is why people leave their small town. Luke Fickell, what the hell are you doing? You could have been at Oklahoma. You could have been at USC. You could have been at Oregon. Joe, what is this guy doing?
Building a small empire in Cincinnati. I like it. I mean, why not be
Joe.
Why not be the biggest guy in a small pond? I mean, you know the school's going to pay you whatever you ask for. I just saw something on Twitter before we got on the air. They're investing a hell of a lot of money in their school to improve their facilities. I call that the Fickle factor. I mean, if they're going to pay you whatever you want, I'd stay there. Recruits will come, man. We've learned that the whole talk of small market and small schools doesn't really matter. And when you factor in the NIL thing, that kind of changes the landscape a little bit. But I can respect what he's doing.
Okay, I'm not saying I don't respect what he's doing, Joe, but why not make it easy on yourself? You're losing 17-3 to Alabama. This is the best it's going to get for him. This is the best case scenario this year. Shouldn't you strike when the iron's hot?
I mean, I see both sides. Maybe he sees, obviously he sees different than when you and I see, and I don't necessarily know if this game is over. I mean, it's gonna come down to, and I know we're gonna talk about the first half, but with Cincinnati getting the ball first in the third quarter, you got to get points. A field goal's okay, a touchdown will be great. You can't fall behind any more than you are already, for sure.
Okay, Joe, before we get into the game, have you watched one episode of Cobra Kai season 4? I called Joe today and he said, "Hey, I was just going to call you. Is Cobra Kai on right now?" I said, "Yes, it is."
No, I have not watched one yet, but you know it's on the to-do list. If I can't, you know what's going to be funny is when the Michigan game is over, especially if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to turn out, I'll probably watch more than one episode.
Joe, here's my thought process here. I can't buy Krispy Kreme donuts because if I buy 12 glazed Krispy Kreme donuts, I'm going to eat all of them. I knew we had to prepare for this show. I had to go to the gym. I had to go to Whole Foods. I can't. I'm addicted to Cobra Kai. I'm everything that I hate when people are so obsessed with shows. I'm like, what are you, a loser? Like, who cares? It's a show. I'm so obsessed with Cobra Kai. I have not even watched it yet because I know tomorrow, after a few cocktails, after I go work out, I'm going to want to stay in bed and I'm going to watch it. Is that your plan? You're on vacation.
Yeah,
Just watch it all tomorrow.
pretty much. I'll be surprised by the end of the day Sunday if I have not blown through it by then.
I know. I'm trying to do. It's like when you order dessert. There's a place right across the street from me, and they give you like a shot glass of key lime pie, and
Oh,
it's the best ever because it's so little, but it's good. I'm trying to do 2 episodes at a time starting tomorrow. I don't think I'll be able to do it, Joe. How excited are you about Cobra Kai?
very excited, man. That's a show that I heard about through you, and I kind of thought, this is going to be corny. I'm not going to enjoy it. I definitely enjoyed it a lot. Blew through the seasons like it was my job, as I like to say all the time when I find a show I like. It's fun. It's entertaining. And
It
the
is.
80s references I love.
I know the '80s music and the acting is phenomenal. I just got a text saying the chat is not working. Just keep trying, people. If you want, you can text me and we'll get to your questions. All right, Joe. So Alabama, Cincinnati, number one Alabama versus Cincinnati. I posted a video on the opening drive, and this is why to me the opening drive was so impressive. When you think about Alabama, they have Bryce Young, the Heisman Trophy winner. They have an elite passing attack. And you think about Alabama as like speed on both sides of the ball. They pounded the ball. I think they ran it 10 straight times,
Yep.
and then he threw it in the end zone. They score right away. Alabama can beat you 2017, 38-33. They can beat you with passing. They can beat you with their running back. I think they have over 145 yards rushing. What does Cincinnati have to do besides obviously getting the ball and scoring to stop this rushing attack? Because Alabama's pushing them all over the field.
Well, the first thing they have to do is they're giving a lot of respect to the Alabama passing game. And like you talked about with Alabama having an elite passing attack, it makes sense. But what I mean by giving too much respect, bring the safeties down. The
Right.
six people in the box is not working. You're going to have to trust those two corners you got. You have two future NFL players, if not three, in your secondary in Cincinnati. I bring my safeties down, try to stop the run. You got to start making these 8 and 10 yard runs into 4, 5 yard runs for Alabama. I mean, Robinson is just running all up and down the field. They're not hitting him or touching him until after he gains 6 or 7 yards. That's got to stop for you to even have a chance.
Yeah, and one of the things that really bothers me is I'm watching the opening drive, and I said to my dad before he went out. My dad was waiting here for our friends of ours to pick him up, and my mom. And I'm like, Dad, they're not even making an adjustment. Like this is what
Nope.
Cincinnati said. It's Cincinnati saying, look, we don't mind losing, but you're going to lose on our terms. Like we're not going to give you the big play down the field. We saw at the end of the half, Bryce Young find the wide receiver. But Joe, they got to adjust. They got to bring more guys in there because they're killing them with the run. And we look at it. The Cincinnati quarterback looks out of rhythm because he's on the sideline for so long.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give your defense a break if you're Cincinnati. You have to give those guys time to catch their breath. They probably wanted to go to halftime more than anybody in the stadium just to get a chance to catch their breath. Like I said, you have to slow down the run game. I mean, they've been effective enough, Cincinnati, with their pass rush. If you look at Bryce Young, he doesn't look comfortable back there at all.
Right,
He looks
right.
very
Good
uneasy.
point.
So if you already have that going for you, bring those guys down to stop the run. Force him to be the person that beats you. If they can't stop the running game, they're going to lose the game.
Yeah, Bryce Young, 12 of 20, 130 yards, not exactly lighting it up. But I'm looking at the stats right now. I checked them before I went on. 302 yards for Alabama, 172 passing yards, 132. Actually, let me flip that. 172 rushing yards, 130 passing yards. Cincinnati has 76 total yards.
Yep. Yeah, had that one good screenplay where the wide receiver broke a tackle and got a first down for Cincinnati. I liked the response, the drive they had right after Alabama scored. You definitely wanted to get a touchdown there and not a field goal. But I thought their drive right after Alabama had the opening drive was the answer you wanted. And what would have been a nice break for Cincinnati, but didn't work out for them, was that muff punt. If they were able to get that ball, even if they got a field goal off that'd have been some kind of momentum, something to build off of. And they just scrubbed the whole end of the half drive just now. Cincinnati had the ball. Great kickoff return, had the ball in good field position. You figure, let's get a field goal, maybe go for a touchdown. Instead, Ritter gets sacked, I want to say twice. Another pass, not even close to his target. He needs to settle down. He's pressing a little bit too much.
One of the things Dabo Swinney said after they lost to Alabama the first time, 35-31, and then they brought Deshaun Watson back, or whatever the score was, and they won the second game, I believe 35-31. Dabo said, we weren't prepared. We were prepared for the game, but we weren't prepared for all the stuff leading up to the game. It was unlike anything he's ever seen because they've never been in a national championship before. Nick Saban's coaching staff, he has Doug Marrone, who's an offensive line coach, who was an NFL head coach. Bill O'Brien was an NFL coach. He's his offensive coordinator. Can something be said that Alabama's staff just knows how to handle this situation, and Cincinnati, as much as they think they did, they had no idea what the hell to expect with the media and all the hype leading up to this game? Do you think that's a factor?
I think it is a little bit, but not really. I mean, especially because of COVID. It was everything was virtual. It wasn't like these guys are out doing press tours and doing stuff they had to do before. I mean, like, for example, with the Cotton Bowl, they always visit Children's Hospital. Well, it was virtual visits. So it wasn't you physically getting in a car and driving to the hospital, having to deal with the media and all the hoopla. It was very subdued compared to what it usually is. I think that's a small factor, but I don't think that's a huge factor. Like I said, for Cincinnati, Ritter has got to calm down, get some easy throws, get into a rhythm. They have to stop the running game, and they have to give that defense some time to catch their breath. It's the game comes down to this opening possession for Cincinnati. You've got to get something off of it.
Joe, so basically you're using the term that you love to use. I don't have any facts, but you're wrong in what I said regarding it. Is this a major factor in this game? You're saying no.
Oh, no, it's not a major factor. It's a factor, but if you want a percentage, I don't know, 20, 25%.
Okay, one of the things that
at the end of the day, Monty, you got to get between the lines and play the game.
Well, I like that you just said at the end of the day, that's Rico's favorite expression. So when we see that, we do a shot. So cheers, everyone. Hope you're having a safe and healthy new year. All right, Joe. One of the things that I really can't stand. Remember a couple years ago when Philadelphia, with a backup quarterback and Nick Foles, had every trick play. They went for everything.
Yeah.
It's almost as if Cincinnati just looks conservative here. When you play in Alabama in a national championship, you got to fake a punt. You got to do some reverses. You got to do something to negate their speed on defense. It's almost like Cincinnati was a little conservative here offensively.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, too. Bill Carroll, who's a college football writer for Nuts and Bolts Sports, had a chance to ask Coach Fickell that actually this week during one of the press conferences, if that's something he's worked on. And he said it is something he's worked on, but it's not something that's like high on their priority list. I would like to think that now at halftime, it's probably gone up a lot higher on the priority list, like you said, for that flea flicker, reverse, fake punt, whatever, something to get a spark on your offense, on your team, and to slow down Alabama and keep their offense off the field. So it's funny how you mentioned that, because Bill definitely asked him that. I want to say it might have even been yesterday that question was asked to Coach.
Yeah, I just think, that was so impressive to me with the Philadelphia coaching staff, especially that play in Nick Foles where he faked.
Philly special.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think when you play in Alabama, when you play in Ohio State, when you play at Clemson, you got to have one trick play, and it just doesn't seem like they're going to do it. So, Joe, I put after the first drive, this game is over. I think Alabama rolls by about 20 points. Do you think Cincinnati has a chance, or is this lights out?
Well, I mean, yesterday during our preview show, I was all about Alabama and how it was going to be. It wasn't going to be close, and then all of a sudden, when it came time to pick, I don't know, the underdog spirit took over me, and I picked Cincinnati to win this game. 20, I think I said 27-21 or 27-24.
I was going to ask you, Joe, what made you change your mind?
Just because, like I said, disrespect from people for Cincinnati, that people think they're just happy to be there. And, oh my God, I got a swag bag in my hotel room. That was worth the flight to Dallas. These kids want to play. They want to compete. So like I said, to me, the game comes down to this first possession. If they get no points on this first possession after the half, it's game over. Even if what I'm saying when I say that, Monty, let's say they don't get points this first possession and near this Alabama, I still think it's over. You've got to get some momentum. You got to build something. You got to get points.
Yeah, that's why it was so heartbreaking. If you're a Cincinnati fan, going into the halftime, they got some momentum. They're driving, and then he gets sacked. So I just think Alabama has too many studs. And before we get to the Michigan Georgia game, for those of you who don't know, Joe's a diehard Michigan fan. Probably why he's wearing yellow right now.
Yep.
So he and I told him just enjoy the day, enjoy what this moment brings, because it's been since 1997 since Michigan has played for a national championship. But one of the things that I will say, Joe, people say, hey, we need to expand the college football playoffs. And my thing is, every 1-4 has been an absolute blowout. A few years ago, I think Alabama beat Michigan State 59-0.
Yeah.
My thing is, Joe, maybe you need to lessen it. Maybe there just needs to be 2 teams, because if Alabama goes on and wins, they're favored by 13. I think they're going to win by 17 or 20. This is 1-4. Joe, we don't need more teams in the playoffs. We don't. Because if Cincinnati's the 4th best team, and they probably are, they're getting manhandled right now.
I'm on the camp of expand. I love college football. A fun little secret about me, I watch the NFL almost because I feel like I have to, because I run a media company. I can watch college football from sunrise to sunset.
But
so
Joe,
I say make it 6 or make it 8, because you're going to have better matchups.
But you're not, Joe, because you look at the 1-4 matchups historically, they've been blowouts. The number 1 team has destroyed the number 4 team. Even the 2-3 matchups haven't been that great. Going back a few years ago with Marcus Mariota, like how I brought him into the fold, and Oregon, they beat Florida State 59-20. These 1-4 matchups, Joe, have not been competitive. Enrico Graziano, we're going to get to this, making an appearance on the show.
Man.
We're going to get to this next game. Okay, Joe. So next game, number 2, Michigan versus number 3. Both of these coaches trying to get the proverbial monkey off their back.
Absolutely.
Kirby Smart can't beat Alabama. Harbaugh got the monkey off his back by destroying. They dominated that game. I don't care what the score was, Ohio State. So break this game down. Give us your keys to this game. Who wins and why? And then I'll tell you who wins and why.
Oh, well, I'm going to pick Michigan. I think the reason why the way we beat this team is we have to establish the running game for sure and force Georgia's quarterback to be the star and make big plays, shut down their running game. And we have to get their tackles. And what Alabama's doing is what Michigan needs to do as far as keeping Georgia's defense on the field, because they have an elite pass rush. But if those guys are gassed from running from sideline to sideline because Jim Harbaugh is calling draws and sweeps and counter plays to get that Georgia defense tired, and we also force their quarterback to be the star of the show for Georgia, that's how we win this game.
Okay, Joe, who has more pressure on them, Kirby Smart or Harbaugh?
Oh, I would say Kirby Smart. I think if you're Jim Harbaugh, you're playing with house money because you beat Ohio State. You are just happy to be there.
Right. So the pressure for Jim is off, right? He's going in there with house money, so to speak.
Absolutely. Okay. For sure.
Okay. So I look at these teams and I say to myself, they're kind of similar in that they want to dominate defensively. They want to run the ball and then set up the play action and throw the ball down the field. But they both want to establish the run. One of the things that Alabama was able to do is throw the ball against Georgia because their secondary is not great. But one of the things Georgia has is that their linebackers are exceptional. Their defensive linemen are exceptional. I don't think that Michigan is going to be able to push them around the way they were able to push around Ohio State. So I think this is going to be a close game, but I have Georgia winning late, 27-20. You're not happy with that.
Oh, that's quite all. Hey, like I said, we were at the beginning of the season. If somebody told me that Michigan would be in the college football playoffs, I would have laughed in your face. I knew we'd be in a bowl game. I didn't think it'd be this bowl game. So I'm happy. Just like I said, 1997 was a long time ago. Lloyd Carr and Brian Greasy are not suiting up or being on the sidelines tonight.
It's funny too because I rarely do this. Rico always says this to me with fantasy football or when you're betting, root for the team that you're picking. I'm rooting for Michigan. I want Michigan to win. I want Harbaugh to win. I think that watching this team this year, how they've grown, how they've evolved, how they are super talented on both sides of the ball. And I got to give Harbaugh credit for one thing. You say for the years that he's been in Michigan, how come you don't develop a quarterback? And his philosophy is a lot like Mike Ditka when he coached him. We're going to run the ball, we're going to physically pound you, and a quarterback's not going to make mistakes. He has not fallen into the Alabama, the Oregon, where Texas and Ohio State, where we're going to throw the ball 50 times. He wants to physically pound you, and he finally has a team that on both sides of the ball are physically imposing. I just think Georgia's a little bit better on the defensive first seven than Michigan is. Do you agree with that or no?
I mean, if you look at the numbers, I have to agree with it. If you're going by straight statistics, yeah, Georgia's defense is number one and number two. I'm pretty sure it's number one in the country, especially
Right.
against the run. But when I look at Michigan's defense, two athletic, super versatile guys in the defensive line, underrated linebacking core, and the secondary hasn't been put under a lot of pressure because the front seven masked a lot of what they're missing in the secondary. So I think for Michigan, like I said, got to run the ball, and you have to keep Georgia's defense on the field. These guys are used to quick 3-and-outs, punching you in the mouth, giving the ball to their offense, and watching from the sidelines. If Michigan can have those long drives, take it back to the 90s, as they've been doing it all season long with this offense that Jim Harbaugh's made, with the occasional screen pass and bubble screen, which is like our favorite play for the last 8 years. If they can establish a run game and keep Georgia's defense on the field, this is a winnable game. This should be a better matchup than the one we're watching right now. This game that we're watching right now between Alabama and Cincinnati could turn into a competitive matchup, but I think this Georgia-Michigan game is going to be a knockdown, drag-out street fight from start to finish.
Joe, when Oregon played Florida State, I was very confident. When they played Ohio State, they were without their starting tight end and 3 wide receivers. I couldn't sleep. I was nervous. I try not to get that way. You seem cool as a cucumber. How come you're so calm for this game?
Because, like I said, we're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be here. Now, when the game kicks off, don't bother me. But right now, that's my mentality. We're here. Finally, we got a shot.
Finally, Joe, we are going to go live at halftime. So Joe's tie might be off. He may be 1 or 2 drinks in. What is your food and drink of choice tonight on New Year's Eve?
Oh, man. Well, I got 2 bottles of champagne that are on standby for the actual new year. But right now, just Stella and chicken wings, man. Some chicken wings, some very unhealthy movie-style popcorn, and just watching the game and enjoying. I'm like half the bag done of popcorn right now. Got some wings on standby, and then Old Faithful, my Stella.
Very nice. I got some Pinot Grigio, which I'm drinking. I have a bottle of champagne waiting for midnight. I have no horse in this race. I predicted Alabama. I predicted Georgia. I hope I'm wrong with Georgia. I really do. For your sake, I want Michigan to win. But like you said, you're playing with house money. And Harbaugh just basically has another 5 years now, right? After beating Ohio State.
Yeah. We all wanted him gone so bad last year, but I think that he's earned himself. Yeah, he's earned himself some more time.
Have you seen the fan base change towards him since they beat Ohio State?
Oh, my God. We thought that was the national championship game, Monty. People who I hadn't spoken to in 10 years texting me, calling me. I don't use Facebook a lot. Facebook messaging me, hey, what about the game? Ohio State fans, congratulations. It's been a while. I'm like, yeah, it has been a long time.
All right. Finally, Joe, before the game's about to start, real quick, we cover everything on Nuts and Bolts Sports. And because Cincinnati fans may be watching Ohio, Ricky Rubio was probably comeback player of the year. Ricky Rubio was having a monster year. The Cavs are a very good team. He's now out. What does that mean for Cleveland going forward? I know you were high on them. I think you had them, 7th in your power rankings this week?
Yeah, we did. No, I think the trade for Rajon Rondo was a great move. I didn't see that coming at all. I'm actually impressed. That shows me that the Cleveland Cavaliers see what they have going on this season as far as the potential to go to the playoffs. It's a really young team, and that'd be a great experience for those young players. So you bring in a veteran. We all know about playoff Rondo, a guy that's been through those battles many times that can help this young team make it to the playoffs. I mean, let's be serious. We know the Cavaliers aren't going to win an NBA title, But for those guys to get a chance to be in the playoffs, experience that, and have a veteran leader like Rajon Rondo, it's a pretty good opportunity.
And I think the players, Rondo's going to thrive in this environment, or he should, because he thrives in environments where he's the leader and people look to him, right?
Yeah,
So that was a great move. But you just feel so bad for Ricky Rubio because he was having a monster year there.
No, he definitely was. Comeback. I think you're absolutely right saying comeback player of the year. Or most improved. He was definitely on the road for either one of those awards, to be honest with you.
All right, Joe, give us a prediction score-wise, Michigan, Georgia.
Ooh, I'm going to still keep it low, but I'm going to say 24-20, the Wolverines. Go blue, baby.
Give us something we should watch for if you're a Michigan fan and they get the ball on the first possession like Alabama did real quick. We got about 30 seconds left on what we should look for if you know this is going to be successful. Would you say they're getting 5-6 yards per run on the opening drive?
I would say third and manageable. If the third downs are 4 yards or less, we're moving on schedule. Things are going the way we want them to.
Okay, Joe, we're going to come back, I would say, 8:45?
Yeah, it sounds about right. This first half went by a little slow.
Are we changing or are we staying in this?
Oh, I'm sticking with this. I'm sticking with this. Unless things get out of hand. Michigan's down by a couple points. It might be wife beater and beer in hand. Who knows?
I don't want to see Joe like this with a 40 in his hand. Go, Michigan, you suck. All right, Joe.
No 40s
we'll see you
around.
later. Go enjoy those wings. Enjoy the second half, everyone. Make sure to subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel and make sure you come back at halftime of the Georgia-Michigan game. We will see you about 8:45, maybe a little bit earlier. Come check us out. It'll be Joe and I again breaking down the second half and putting a recap on this. Joe, we'll see you soon.
All right, Monty. Appreciate it, man.
All right.